The Dallas Mavericks have one roster spot and a couple $1 million that they could use to go out, find another player, round out the roster, and get this team ready for the upcoming season. And over the last few days, we took a look at a few players that have been linked to the Dallas Mavericks and whether or not they'd be a good fit. But we have new reports that show that the Dallas Mavericks have narrowed their search down to two players that we could see getting signed in the upcoming days. And those players are Dennis Smith Jr. and Spencer Dinwiddie. So in this video, we're going to break down all those reports, take a look at both Spencer Dinwiddie and Dennis Smith Jr., what they provide to the Dallas Mavericks, their strengths, their weaknesses, and who's a better fit in the long term versus the short term. But how's it going, everybody? My name is Marcel Martin. This is Mavs Digest, bringing you the latest news on everything Mavericks related. And before we start this video, I just want to thank you guys so much for hitting that subscribe button. At the time of this video, we're at 12,106 subscribers, which is crazy. I just appreciate all the support that you guys show me on this channel. But I have a goal of hitting 15K before the end of the year, and it looks like we could possibly hit that before the start of the season. If you want to be up to date on everything Mavericks related and you don't want to miss out on a single thing that we do, make sure you subscribe. But like I said in the intro, the Dallas Mavericks, we have one roster spot open. We got a couple $1 million, and that 15th roster spot, yes, we could leave it open, use that money down the road for someone else. But this last season, we saw the Dallas Mavericks use their last roster spot on Derrick Jones Jr., who became just very instrumental to this team's success in the second half of the season. When he got moved to that starter role and he really started to find himself, he was just a defensive monster. When our number one best point of attack defender, just with the high flying lobs, the dunks, being able to create his own shot, his three-point shot improving over the season. So that last roster spot, yes, you could leave it open. You could use that money elsewhere, or you can see who's out there on the market that we could potentially bring back, and who knows how they pan out for us. And with the reports that we're going to look at right here, the Dallas Mavericks are showing interest in Dennis Smith Jr. and Spencer Dinwiddie. The Dallas Mavericks have considered bringing one of two former guards back to the team, Spencer Dinwiddie and Dennis Smith Jr. Should Dinwiddie and Smith Jr. land elsewhere, Malachi Flynn is also on Dallas's radar, Hoops Hype has learned. Flynn scored a career-high 50 points last season with Detroit. Now, I don't really think Malachi Flynn would be a good fit for the Dallas Mavericks. Just like Dennis Smith Jr., he is an undersized guard. And even though he did score 50 points last season, I just don't think that we should use that spot on someone who's really just going to sit at the end of the bench. Malachi Flynn did get drafted by the Raptors. Played a few years there where he really didn't get much of a role, whether it was in the deep bench. Well, he was on the deep bench, but he wasn't really even coming off the bench in the rotation, only coming onto the court during garbage time. He eventually got traded, found his way to Detroit, where they don't really have any expectations, just try and get more than 10 wins on this season. But as far as Spencer Dinwiddie and Dennis Smith Jr. go, I think those two are a better fit for the Dallas Mavericks. And I've seen a lot of people say how we don't really need another guard. We have enough guards. We need another forward. We need another center. A lot of people don't want us to go into the season with just Daniel Gafford and Derrick Lively, knowing that if one of them gets hurt, we got Dwight Powell coming off the bench, which I don't think that's a problem. If we have to go small, I'm pretty sure that we could. But it looks like the organization really wants to get another guard for the Dallas Mavericks before we head into the season. And, I mean, if we take a look at Spencer Dinwiddie and Dennis Smith Jr., those two could be a pretty good fit for the team. They've both played here before. There is chemistry with some of the players here. But we will not forget what happened this past trade deadline with Spencer Dinwiddie on why he chose the Los Angeles Lakers. Spencer Dinwiddie explains why he picked the Lakers over the Mavs, saying, let's say you're a kid and you got your butt whooped by the bully. Dallas would have been like your mama, like, it's okay, baby. Lakers are like your dad. Nah, you better go out there and fight till you win. And man, this quote aged horribly. And from this, I mean, your mama made it to the finals. Your dad lost in the first round. So obviously, if Spencer Dinwiddie does come back, I'm pretty sure fans will give him a hard time for this, but we'll eventually get over it as Spencer Dinwiddie is capable of entering our rotation. Again, I'm not too sure what's going to happen with Jaden Hardy or Dante Exum. If we're getting another guard, especially if it's someone who's been on the team before, I'm not sure if Dante Exum or Jaden Hardy is in the team's long-term plans, but at the same time, this last roster spot could just be a break in the case of emergency. If someone gets hurt, cool, we got Spencer Dinwiddie, we got Dennis Smith Jr. if anything were to happen. But if we take a look at their stats for this past season, Spencer Dinwiddie averaged 10.5 points, 2.7 rebounds, 4.7 assists, 0.3 blocks, 0.7 steals, 1.2 turnovers, 1.8 fouls per game, while averaging 39% from the floor and 33% from three. He shoots 51% on corner threes, 78% of his threes are assisted, and 57% of all shots are threes. And obviously, like I said before, his stats for this past season with the Los Angeles Lakers were just abysmal. Everyone knows that his best years of lately have been with the Dallas Mavericks. If we just take a look at this little graphic right here, here are his stats while he was playing for the Dallas Mavericks. He was averaging 15 points a game, 0.8 steals, 3.8 rebounds. He was averaging about I said 0.8 steals already, but it was 5.9 assists per game, shooting 35% from three, shooting about 42% from the floor. He was just amazing for us when he was here. I don't think father time has gotten to him yet. I want to say he's like 30 or 31 years old, so he's not too old, but if we give him a small role with the team, I'm not sure what the minutes would look like, but he could definitely provide a good option off the bench for another ball handler. We got Luka Doncic. We got Kyrie Irving. I don't think we'd really task Klay Thompson with bringing the ball down, but like I said earlier, we have Jaden Hardy, we have Dante Exum. Does Spencer Dinwiddie provide something a little bit better than those two? I mean, Dante Exum showed us flashes of just being clutch in the moment, being that third ball handler, but there were times where he was very timid, wasn't very aggressive, would second guess himself, wouldn't take the shot when he was open, and would just defer back to Luka or Kyrie. And with Jaden Hardy being just still, he's in his third year, he's young, still developing, he's shown signs of the opposite of Dante Exum, where instead of being timid, he's very aggressive, where sometimes that aggressiveness and just that willing to attack the basket or just get a shot off does lead to turnovers, leads to bad plays. So is Spencer Dinwiddie a better fit than those two? I think the strengths that Spencer Dinwiddie brings to this team is versatility. He's 6'5" and he's a guard. We can put him at the 1 or the 2, maybe at the 3 if you need to. You can play him alongside Kyrie and Luka on the court together, and it is not a bad combination. We saw him play alongside Luka Doncic and Jalen Brunson, and it worked. Whereas his past season, if we ever saw Luka, Kyrie, and Tim Hardaway all on the court, it was just a recipe for failure. No one liked that lineup at all. That 3-guard lineup was bad. But you can play the 3-guard lineup with Spencer, and the defense that he provides is not amazing. It's not a Derrick Jones Jr. level of defense, but that defense would be helpful if we go a 3-guard lineup, if we want to go small. Spencer Dinwiddie does provide a lot of just playmaking and facilitating for the Dallas Mavericks. So the strengths are pretty good. The weaknesses would just be not too sure what his role would look like. I know the third ball handler, we talked about him coming off the bench, but what would the minutes look like? The pros do outweigh the cons, because the only con I can think of is, are you going to get minutes? Is your role going to be that significant? I said how we have Dante Exum and Jaden Hardy. I don't know who's going to get minutes over who. If you're going to be at the end of the bench as the 15th man, or if you're in the rotation, that's up to Jason Kidd. But other than just having that experience with the team, with Luka Doncic, and just playing his best brand of basketball with the Mavericks, I don't really see anything wrong with it. If you want to count the fact that he's getting a little bit older, he's in his 30s, sure, I guess that's a con, but I don't see that as a problem. But the other player that we want to take a look at is Dennis Smith Jr. If we take a look here on his stats over the last season, he averaged 6.6 points, 2.9 rebounds, 3.6 assists, 0.2 blocks, 1.2 steals, and 1.2 turnovers per game, as well as 2.2 fouls per game, shooting 43% from the floor, 29% from three. He shoots 34% on corner threes, 87% of his threes are assisted, and 32% of all shots are threes. Now, obviously, this team has become very versatile. We stopped just shooting threes all day, every day, and we attack the basket. We do the pick and roll. We throw up the lobs. And so Dennis Smith Jr. kind of fits that, although we did get Klay Thompson, a splash brother, so obviously our threes will be falling more often, but Dennis Smith Jr. not being able to really shoot the three ball that well does provide us something that Derrick Jones Jr. did provide, and that's athleticism. That's just that explosive ability to just attack the basket and just dunk with authority, and he's also a very good defender, one of the best. Not going to overinflate him, but he is one of the better defenders in the league, especially on the perimeter. If we take a look here, this was back in March. Dennis Smith Jr. has been looking like the perfect backup point guard for the Nets, especially as of late. He's checking all the boxes as a backup point guard. Past 2 games, he's averaging 12 points per game, 6 rebounds, 8.5 assists with only half a turnover per game, 2.5 steals, and shooting 48% from the floor. Was a very quality offseason grab by the Nets, and I think that could be a very quality grab for the Dallas Mavericks. He has a relationship with Luka Doncic. He's played for the team only for about a year and some change before he got traded. So the reunion would be nice, although you can make the argument that Spencer Dinwiddie actually has more chemistry with the guys, because Spencer also played with Kyrie Irving in Brooklyn. But if we're going to talk about defense, that you definitely lean towards the side of Dennis Smith Jr. He's an amazing defender. He can guard other smaller, craftier, faster guards. He's very athletic. Not saying he'd be a better point of attacker than Derrick Jones Jr., but he could be potentially. We saw Derrick Jones Jr. over the course of a season become a very good defender, arguably the best point of attack defender that we've seen in a while for the Dallas Mavericks. Who's to say that we couldn't do that for Dennis Smith Jr.? So his strengths would definitely be playmaking. He can facilitate. His defense is just amazing. That perimeter defense on smaller guards is definitely something that we could use. And the cons are he is just a smaller guard, and we have a bunch of those already. And again, the same issue that I saw with Spencer Dinwiddie is how would that work with our rotation? Are we playing Dennis Smith Jr. over Dante Exum or Jaden Hardy? Again, that's up to Jason Kidd. But me personally, I wouldn't be upset on either of these pickups. If we go the route of Spencer Dinwiddie, like I said, we can make fun of him for choosing the Lakers, but I'm sure a lot of people would love to have him back. And again, with Dennis Smith Jr., the same case can be made. I mean, it's a great reunion. He plays great defense. He is a smaller guard. He doesn't shoot the three ball very well, but he can still attack the basket. I wouldn't be surprised if we could throw a lob to him. The possibilities are endless, but if you think we should pick one of these guys, one over the other, let me know down in the comment section down below, because I personally think that in the short term, Spencer Dinwiddie could probably help you better in the short term, but the long term, you get Dennis Smith Jr. He fits the timeline. He's young like the rest of the guys, so even if this season he doesn't do too much, you can keep him for the next season. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. But that's what I got for you guys today. Thank you for being as far to the video. Make sure you check out our Twitter and Discord. Links in the description below. Consider becoming a channel member. We are doing a giveaway tomorrow, and because we hit 12K, we're going to do a double giveaway. And the only way to enter our giveaway is to become a channel member. But until next time, y'all take care and drink water. Peace.